Welcome into the Browns Report, everybody. I'm your host, Joey O'Donohue, and today's show, we are predicting every game for the Cleveland Browns in 2025. So if you're a diehard fan, stick around. We're going to go through every matchup, and I'm going to tell you just how good your Cleveland Browns are going to be this season. First of all, they're being slept on grossly by the analysts. I mean, their over-under win total is set at 4.5 right now, one of the lowest in all of football. Their Super Bowl odds, also one of the worst, plus 40,000 to make it and win the big game. They're consistently being ranked in power rankings as the 31st best team in the NFL. If you don't know, there's only 32 teams in the NFL, so that's second worst. And those Super Bowl odds are second worst in the NFL in terms of projections. We're going to talk about why this is wrong. But first, don't jinx it. Like the video right now for good luck for the Cleveland Browns season. You don't want to be the one that didn't like the video and then come back and the Browns lose games. Make sure you like the video right now so that the Browns can get a bunch of wins in 2025 and hopefully into 2026. And without further ado, let's get into my record prediction. First up is the Cincinnati Bengals this Sunday, and Cleveland is starting things off 1-0. Go ahead, watch my preview video that I posted a couple days ago. I give you all the analysis on why Cleveland is fit to beat the Bengals this Sunday. I'm telling you, it's going to happen 23-17. The Bengals are always off to slow starts. Moving on to another division foe. Unfortunately, I'm giving this game to the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are absolutely stacked this year. If I had to pick a team that's going to make it to the Super Bowl, I regrettably would pick the Baltimore Ravens at the moment. So I do think Cleveland takes a loss in that one, 27-17. Next up, the Green Bay Packers. I originally had this as a close, tight game, but after the Micah Parsons trade, I think defensively it's going to be hard to score on the Packers, and Cleveland's only going to put up 14. Probably lose that one 24-14. And finally, another loss coming up against the Detroit Lions, another really stacked NFL team. Listen, Cleveland has a tough first 5 games on the schedule, but don't lose hope just yet because I have them beating the Minnesota Vikings in London early in the morning for you guys. 24-19. I think the Cleveland Browns win that one by 5. So a little bit of a concerning start, you might think, starting off 2-3. But honestly, with that brutal of a first 5 game schedule, that's not bad if the Browns can come out of it with 2 wins. And I absolutely think they will. And just wait because things start to get better as the season progresses. Moving on to the next half of games. This one, I do have the Steelers beating the Browns in their first matchup. 20-17, close, gross, defensive game. I bet the Browns, not to spoil it, but I do think they split with the Steelers this year. Moving on. Miami Dolphins, that's a dub for the Cleveland Browns. 27-21. Listen, Miami's defense, weren't they the ones that let up 70 recently? I bet the Browns can put up points against the Dolphins and get that dub, win by 6. Moving on to the Patriots. This one, close game, but I think New England will pull it out 24-16. Drake May, a lot of people are hyping him up as a rookie quarterback right now. And the Patriots have had the Browns number for a while. Then Cleveland gets a free week off. You can't lose on the bye week, folks. It's a nice day of rest. And then they'll come out of it well rested and ready for a dub against the New York Jets. Justin Fields is terrible. He's going to be running for his life against Myles Garrett. So now the Browns got a couple more wins under their belt. And before we get into the rest of my predictions for the Browns season, I'm excited to tell you about our sponsor today, which is PrizePicks. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. Honestly, I'm so ready for football to be back on Sundays. All is right with the world, and I'm big into daily fantasy with PrizePicks. I'm obsessed with it because it makes all the games more entertaining. And before the Browns play, I lock in on all my players in my lineup and their player projections. PrizePicks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in. PrizePicks is also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 plus states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. And I've got my own lineup cooked up for this Sunday. First of all, PrizePicks is giving you an awesome deal where you can get Dak Prescott more than half a passing yard. That's free. And then I've got Cedric Tillman more than 18 and a half yards on his longest reception. I think he at least gets a 20-yard catch, especially against that Bengals defense. And finally, Joe Flacco over half a passing touchdown. He just needs to throw one touchdown, and then my projections would be right. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Moving on to the rest of my predictions for the Cleveland Browns. How about this? A Week 11 dub over the Baltimore Ravens. 27-26. It's going to be one of those thrillers. You know Cleveland gets into primetime division thrillers at least once a year. I think this is the one, and they upset the Baltimore Ravens. And then coming off that dub, they're hot. They go in and beat the Las Vegas Raiders, 28-23. Cleveland's offense is moving now towards the back half of the season. That hot streak comes to a halt when the 49ers come to town. Cleveland loses 28-21 in that one. I just think even though they're pretty injured, the Niners have so many stars on their roster. Cleveland's bound to lose one in this stretch, but not the next one because they'll beat the Tennessee Titans, the team that was worse than them last year. Cam Ward ain't going to do nothing to the Browns defense. 24-14, you heard it here first. Moving on. Cleveland's going to beat the Chicago Bears. Come on. Two franchises that get made fun of a lot. Well, I don't think Caleb Williams is that special right now, and Cleveland will get that dub. 24-17. It's a good score prediction. Buffalo Bills is a tough one to beat. I got them beating the Browns. 31-24. Bills are probably going to put up 30 on the Browns, but that's okay. You're going to have one game where you give up a lot of points, and for me, that's going to be the Bills for the Browns. This is the moment we beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. 24-14. Cleveland starting to contend for a wild card spot at this point. When you look at all the dubs I have them racking up, that could certainly be a possibility, but the AFC's tough. I do have Cleveland beating the Steelers and then losing to the Bengals at the end of the year, since he also probably going to be in that mid-range like they were last year fighting for a playoff spot that they did not get. That's what I have for the Cleveland Browns, and I'm not going to lie. I left some teams off. So you might be sitting there thinking, wow, you're being really generous to the Browns. But no, I gave up wins. I'd say the 49ers are actually beatable. I'd say Cleveland can beat New England. And there's potential they sweep either the Bengals or the Steelers because division games can really go either way. And let's be honest, the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers was not good last year. There's nothing special. There's nothing to worry about in Pittsburgh right now. So my final record prediction for the Browns is 9-8. 9 wins for your dog pound. And I honestly think that's a fair assessment when you go through every single game like I just did. You see that some of the opponents are not as hard as ESPN and other expert websites are projecting them to be. So let me know what you think in the comments. What is your Cleveland Browns record prediction for the 2025 season? Comment below an exact record prediction. I want to see where your heads are at, Browns fans. And you want to know what's really fun about the Cleveland Browns? Maybe fun, maybe upsetting, but you just never know what they're going to do lately. I mean, the Browns have made it to the playoffs in 2 of the last 5 years, 2020 and 2023. People are acting like the Browns are bad again because of one bad season. They've made the playoffs twice in the last 5 years. And then last season, they entered the NFL draft with the number 2 overall pick. So yeah, they were one of the worst records in football a year after they made the playoffs. They've also had multiple Pro Bowlers on their roster each year since 2018, including 7 Pro Bowlers in 2023. So it's like the Browns are so up and down. You literally never know what they're going to do. That's been the case for Cleveland the last 5 years. There were, when they made the Deshaun Watson trade, I know nobody likes to talk about it, I certainly don't, but there were sports books that had Cleveland as a Super Bowl contender when that happened. Browns made the playoffs in 2023 then, And then now you have the Browns, like I said, finishing 3-14 just last season. It's like you have no idea what they're going to do. So I think it's reasonable to project some wins for Cleveland. That's why I have them getting 9 wins. But I have a couple concerns. Like, I don't think if the Browns do lose games, it's not going to be because of their roster. It's not going to be because of their players, except maybe one, Joe Flacco. If he plays bad, all right, that would concern me. If Flacco's just playing bad and they stick with him, then they're going to lose more games than I think. Adding on to that, if the coaches make dumb decisions, like when Deshaun Watson was playing terrible and the Browns just kept putting him in and we were screaming on social media, bench Watson, they wouldn't do it. Now, that wasn't just Stefanski. That's why I have coaches plural. And I think there was a lot of pressure on him from the front office of, hey, we're paying this guy $200 million. We can't just have him sit on the bench. So they were forced to keep playing a guy that was sucking for the Browns. So dumb decisions are mine. There's another concern that might affect my record prediction. I won't touch on this one too much, but if there is a tanking conspiracy theory going on that the Browns are trying to lose games purposefully to get more draft picks, that would concern me as well. But thankfully, that's not something we have to worry about right now. I'm projecting wins for Cleveland. And then, of course, the injury bug. Look, my projection is based on a fully healthy Browns roster, right? But we know the injury bug has plagued them a couple times in the past few years for some stars like Denzel Ward, like Myles Garrett. Heck, their whole quarterback room was injured in the preseason. Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, and Kenny Pickett, when he was there, all had injuries and the season hadn't even started yet. So that would obviously affect my record prediction as well. But I think 9 wins is honestly fair if all goes right. If it's a healthy Cleveland Browns roster and they bring in all the rookies that we've talked about all offseason long, Mason Graham, a stud, the number 5 pick in the draft. Hopefully Judkins gets his deal done soon and he takes over that backfield. Isaiah Bond, speedster. Once he gets up to speed, no pun intended, he'll be an impact player for the Browns. Like, I think there's a lot that Cleveland has gone out and done. Credit Andrew Berry for the rookies he's drafted and signed. And it's a different team that the NFL is sleeping on. So 9 wins is my prediction. Like I said, let me know yours in the comments section below. And I'm just so hyped that football is back. It'll be on your TVs Sunday. And make sure you are subscribed to the Browns Report because we will be live every week for a watch party to hang out, watch the Browns together, and talk football. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you very soon here on the Browns Report.